A lot of parents struggle with what to let their kids read right now. Your book deals with war, corruption, and real darkness, but it has won a parental award. So, how do you walk that line between protecting kids and preparing them?
I don't think you can protect kids from everything. There's going to be bad things that happen. I think you need to expose kids to that because if they never experience anything bad, they don't know how to react or work their way through something traumatic or bad, which is kind of true today too with stuff that's going on in the world right now. But you have to be prepared. Take that part of it and then turn it so everything is positive. So I think that's a good message for kids.
Is there any advice that you would like to give to aspiring writers out there?
I would say just keep writing. Don't give up. I never thought I would do this. I would say if you've got a story to tell, there's always somebody out there that can relate to what you're writing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pages of Pandora, the show where we talk about stories and the authors behind them. What if I told you the most powerful creature in an entire fantasy world is not a dragon? Not even a warrior, not even a king. It's a tiny golden bird trapped in a spider web. That's what Lainey Miles built in her debut novel, Legacy of a Golden Bird. Lainey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I want to start somewhere unexpected. You dedicated this book to your late mother and you describe her as true inspiration of strength, character, and never ending support. Was there a specific moment with her that made you finally say, "Alright, I'm writing this book"?
Not really. I started writing the book before she passed away. And I kept writing and writing. And then one day I just decided either quit writing or you have to put this out. So I decided to put it out. And the more I thought about it, I guess it just came out of me that that Bera that was very peaceful, that brought them peace. So I wanted to kind of bring that sort of scenery into that.
I've also seen that a lot of parents struggle with what to let their kids read right now. Your book deals with war, corruption, and real darkness, but it has won a parental award. So, how do you walk that line between protecting kids and preparing them?
Well, I don't think you can protect kids from everything. And I think you should expose them to, not violent, horrible things, but in a subtle way of, there's going to be bad things that happen. And I think you need to expose kids to that because if they never experience anything bad, they don't know how to react or work their way through something, traumatic or bad. So I think maybe that sort of that struggle with warfare and stuff, which is kind of true today too with stuff that's going on in the world right now. But you have to be prepared. So I think it's best, and then take that part of it and then turn it so everything is positive. So you're taking something that's bad and negative, and then that way, in my mind, you can find something positive and a way to work out. So I think that's a good message for kids.
Right. There is a moment in the book where trees literally rise from the ground to protect the people who need it. With everything happening to real forest and the environment right now, is there a message in there that you want people to catch?
When the tree popped up,
Yes, regarding the environment.
well, that was just kind of a crazy thing that popped in my head actually. And trees represent kind of strength in the world. I think trees don't get a lot of respect. Because the forest itself for me, again, in Colorado we have beautiful forests, and it's just people just don't, I think, appreciate nature that much. And so when you're standing to incorporate something that represented, I guess, more strength, or something popping up and also helping somebody get out of trouble. So that was just kind of a little crazy pop up in my head, I guess.
That's a fascinating idea. With a rise of social media nowadays, kids today are glued to screen. Your book asks them to imagine an entire world with no visuals, right? Just words. So do you think this generation still has that muscle, or are you trying to rebuild it?
Um, I think, yes, kids spend way too much time on screens, on their phones. Every time you look around, everybody's got their head stuck in their phone, which isn't really a good thing. I mean, you look and they just got their head in a phone. So I think also that doesn't bode well for if you're trying to imagine something. So I think writing a book and having kids actually opening a book and flipping pages, um, it 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 helps them to actually use their imagination. So you have to go through a process of thinking about, wow, so what would this look like in my head? So it promotes actual thinking, as opposed to just sticking your face in a, I mean, I'm being a little blunt, but just putting your face in a screen all the time, that doesn't promote anything,
Right.
you need, you need to have imagination, because that promotes, you know forward progress for me.
Right.
That's how
Even
I.
nowadays, with the spread of AI and all, the imaginative power has been decreased. Now people are not
Yeah,
imagining anything. They are just asking ChatGPT or any AI tool, and very fast they are getting the answers for that.
yeah, exactly. I agree with you totally. It's kind of quashed your creative spirit, which everybody needs.
Right. So, what is the most rewarding part of putting this book out into the world for you?
Well, I'd have to say people like you, um, and just being noticed, having people really like my story, and um, I never expected to be sitting here with you. So it's very rewarding just having being noticed and having people like the story, because I guess you never know when you put something out, what's going to happen, and I never expected this. So this is pretty
I
awesome.
want to know more about how your writing journey has started. What was the initial push for you?
My Actually, it's a really goofy story. I started writing this book quite a long time ago. My sister had this little hamster named Chuck, and he was always doing really silly things. And so I thought, why not write a little story? I grew up, I always had pretty wild imagination. Grimm's fairy tales I read, big lover of Walt Disney. Um, and the Nancy Drew mystery series. And I always just absolutely loved reading and loved the stories. So I thought, you know what, maybe I could create, a story about Chuck the hamster. So then it kind of grew obviously from there. I decided that when I come out with a movie that I want Chuck to be a handsome warrior, and Solaire was this beautiful rat that Chuck loved, this beautiful white rat. And I'm like, no, she's got to be a beautiful princess. So the story just kind of kept going and going and going. And then, so that's kind of how it started, which is pretty crazy.
Beautiful. This book ends with two words. The trilogy continues. So I know there is something more coming, but forget the sequel for a second. If reader closes this book tonight and sits with it, what do you hope they will feel about it?
Um, I hope they feel like no matter how small you are, you can make a big difference in the world. And that friendships are very important. And you have to persevere through whatever is your challenge, because if you don't, then you'll never grow. You won't succeed. I think never say never. There's always hope. Look to the light. I think there's a lot of things you can kind of draw from what's in the book, because that's, if you don't have hope, then you don't have anything, as far as I'm concerned. You always have to look up and move forward and have hope, and that is a big driving force. So I hope that's what people take from that.
That's a very powerful message. Is there any upcoming series that coming up in the world?
So right now I'm working on my editor is doing an audio book for me, so that's going to be out probably in the next 4 months or so. And I'm currently working on my second in the series. It's about a little over halfway finished. So there's going to be some more interesting characters and some very interesting twists.
Wow.
So I don't know if I should, but I will. My next book is called Curse of the Black Mountain.
Okay.
So that's the second book in the series. So hopefully it'll be out this year.
I want to know, is there any hardest part for you writing about this book?
The one I'm working on now?
Yes, both. The one that you're working right now and this forest trilogy as well.
The first book was, I have to say, not as hard as this one I'm writing now, because I'm adding some certain twists. I already had a lot of the book written, and now I've changed it up quite a bit. So now I'm having to kind of rework through some areas, and then there's some more fun characters in there that I've added. So once again, it starts like this, and then it's like this, and then it's like this. So the second one is definitely a little bit more difficult, but I'm really excited about it, and I'm really having fun with it. So
great. Is there any advice that you would like to give to aspiring writers out there?
Any advice to writers?
Yes.
I would say just keep writing. Don't give up. I never thought I would do this, and here I am. I would say, if you've got a story to tell, there's always somebody out there that can relate to what you're writing, and it's good for kids, to read. Reading is very important. So if you've got a story to tell it, put it out, because you never know. That's my advice. I actually was at a book festival about 3 weeks ago, and there were some girls that came up to me and asked me the same thing. And they're like, "Boy, I don't know." And I'm like, you got to do it. And what they were writing about was incredible. I'm like, well, you have to. And they're putting, pen to paper. They're doing it, and that's like half the battle. So I just told them, put it out. Don't be afraid. You gotta just don't be afraid.
That's very helpful advice. Thank you so
Yes.
much for the conversation. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your journey with us.
Well, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And to everyone listening out there, do check out the book, The Lost Forest Trilogy. It's available on Amazon. Thank you so much for listening for the podcast. You can also connect with the author on Instagram, and you can also check out the website.